Oh,
People
man.
either hear Chobani or Jack said something about hearing my last name, and now I can't unhear it.
All right. Well, we got the great Sherbobo with us. Welcome back, everybody, for the latest episode of the Flockast, episode 61 with Mr. Dan Sherbondy. How you doing, my friend?
I'm pretty good. How about you, Colin?
Oh, man, I'm having a great day. Getting that surprise from the pigeons, I couldn't even wait to get to talk about it. That's why I was so excited when you scheduled for today. The dropping of the nest. I saw that come up today, and that was just unexpected, super cool. I already threw my money at it. I wanted to see what was going on. What do you think about it?
I mean, I think it's great. Like live audio streams while they're playing shows, the group chat. Yeah, I feel like it's something that, it's just going to be easier than, Flockers Lee having to go up and stream and a better chat system. It's basically just like their version of like what Fish has going on right now. And
Yeah,
I'm
I mean, I
excited
do
about
feel
the
bad though. I
practice
guess
jams.
take my hat off is, I guess rest in peace to our streamer friends, out of work right now. They've just put about 3 or 4 rail streamers out of work by doing this. So just a moment of silence for our friends on the rail.
Yeah, but at the same time, if they're only doing audio streams for that, the video is still nice to have from them. So
Oh, I'm sure they'll still do it for the love of the game. And that was just a funny joke. I'm just thinking of Lee and Jenny right now. But I was stoked because I was checking it out, and like the practice jam 820 part 1, sick. I've tried to touch on the other 2 practice jams. Give me more of that. That's one thing I was like, oh, I was a kind of unexpected treat today when I worked. Just kind of threw that on. It was kind of like ambient jams in the background. But I mean, I'd love to see more of that. Have you had a chance to listen to them at all?
I haven't. I didn't buy it yet. I plan on doing it whenever I get paid. But yeah, practice jams, behind the scenes stuff like that. That's something you don't get often from bands. So it's going to be interesting to listen to.
Yeah, I think look, there's going to be sound check jams, practice jams, and I'm curious to see what they do with it. It's interesting. They have a lot of opportunity, but at the same time, it's about doing it right also. So I think I'm curious to see what that comes out from this, but really excited. But let's see, we got sound check jam, get a T-shirt, tour dates, tickets. Yeah, they're
The
pulling
one
it all in
free
there.
early entry.
Early entry. There we go. So let me ask you a question. So when you go to a show, where do you like to hang out?
And honestly, it all depends. I hang out with wherever Jack's standing at. Pretty much, I go to so many shows with him that it's just I'd rather be with the fam than have a specific spot.
I think the last 3 shows I went to with Jack, he left his shoes with me and then just disappeared for like most of the show. Then comes back at the end and gets his shoes back. And I'm like, all right, dude, here you go.
No surprise there.
Yeah, look, with the homies is always a good spot. You can't really go wrong with that.
Yeah, whether it be on the rail in the back, doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, I'm an advocate at the back guy. My rail days are over. I think that's the kids' game at this point. I don't have the wherewithal anymore. I tap out real fast. One of these days, I'll go back on there just to hang out with the fam. But I definitely enjoy my back. But let's see. Did you make it to some shows this summer?
This summer I did a couple of the Pigeons Frasco Dogs tour, and then I did the Gorge show. But I've been not hitting as many shows as I'd like to recently.
Amen to that. I feel your pain. With Halloween coming up, really excited to see, what they do for this Jimmy Shelter. I'm trying to make it to the Tennessee show. I really don't feel like I can miss this one. Really curious to see how they do it. I mean, Jeremy shredding over some Jimi Hendrix, I think will be sick, and he'll absolutely go just nuts on that. I can just see him already,
Oh yeah, I
Um,
mean he's just given an open pass to just do whatever he wants on guitar now at that point, and he's
Right.
going
I
to
mean,
shred it.
look, he'll rip some Keith Richards, but I think when he's playing some Jimmy, like I want to hear him play Fire. there's like, I'm already going through speculation of, what songs I'd like to hear him play. Uh, yeah, there's so much I think open. They always manage to do this when it comes to a Halloween run. Like they manage to pick two bands that they can really like have a deep catalog, a lot to pull from, which really doesn't make it obvious what they're going to play.
Yeah, I like leaving it up to a guessing game at that point. You get to pick your favorites and what you want to hear, and then if you get lucky and hit on it, it's just that much more special.
Right? It's a little bing, jackpot. All right, here we go. I mean, I remember during the Daft Side of the Moon, like Daft Punk, I saw them left a country early to go to Australia to see them in a park in Brisbane when I was like maybe it'd be like in my early 20s. And it's one of those bands I've met very few people who have actually seen them live. So I have this like deep old school, like I remember them from when I was a kid. So when I heard they were going to do the Daft Side of the Moon, I was just like, there's no way I'm going to miss a single show of this. I can't. And they crushed it. I mean, there was moments where they were just like nailing it so hard when they played There's Something Between Us, but Greg wasn't doing the vocals.
Oh.
And like, I mean, everyone was singing it. Like, it was just like, I mean, yeah, it's moments like that keep me coming back in a big way. But that's why I get so excited for this Halloween. It's because I know like they always deliver. And I think the subject matter they can pull from this is pretty deep and epic. So yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be 3 ripping shows.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely excited about the theme. I think they, especially Rolling Stones, they're still making music. They have almost an endless catalog to pull from that side of it.
One would debate though, and I had this debate with someone recently though, have they written a song in 20 years? I mean, that anybody listens to?
That's
Not
true.
knocking the Stones. I always feel like, people want to hear Paint It Black, like play the hits.
Yeah, like one song I hope they pull out is Beast of Burden from them, but
Oh, Greg would nail that one. I want to see Greg doing Jagger. I didn't even think about that until right now, but now I can picture it, and it's all I could think about.
I mean, if anyone, he would be the perfect man for that.
Right?
He's
I
got
think
the stage presence for sure.
this whole time I was thinking about Jeremy playing Hendrix or Richards, and I didn't even stop to think about, yeah, that's going to be amazing. Dude, Greg's range has gotten so good over the years. I thought it was great also just seeing how Garrett streamed the other day his kid set from Ramble Festival. And when I saw like the set
That
list
was
from
awesome.
that, adorable. I loved it. Like that's how dynamic this guy is. He'll go out there and he'll just hammer some Rolling Stones and then rip a kid set.
I heard the set was great, and I've heard nothing good about or nothing bad about Ramblefest. I wanted to get to go out there to see it, but
Now, my
wasn't
buddy
in the
Ryan
cards,
for
unfortunately.
years has been raving about this festival. Like from the early days, maybe in the first one, he was like trying to almost force me to go. I haven't made it yet, but I've watched it grow over the years. And I was like looking at the lineup this year, and I was like, wow, it used to be kind of like almost a backyard festival. I think where it started, it was just kind of small, like one stage, maybe two, but now it's like had Mo for 2 nights, a couple other like considerably
Oh
sized
yeah,
bands. So it shows you where that festival has gone. And especially in a year where festivals are being canceled and stopping going, like it's good to see at least, some can continue on, right? It's the quality of the product. It must be.
from what I heard from Garrett, it still has the backyard festival vibes, even if it has grown. Like it's just completely fam vibes, 100%. Which that's what you want to hear.
You can tell that they probably care about the festival more than they care about making money. Is what that tells
Yeah.
me. It's look, when greed comes in and these guys have the opportunity to charge $11 for a water, like, yeah, you can do that, but you're a piece of shit. In my opinion, anyway. Sorry, it's harsh, but I hate that stuff. Getting gouged at concerts and festivals. Like, we all want to put our money into this stuff, support our artists, but like, don't have to get gouged in the meantime. I'll get off my soapbox now, but
Right.
I
We're here
love
to
to see it
support the
when
bands,
they
not
run
try
it
and.
and keep it fam. That's important. So we were talking earlier before we jumped on. You were at the Outpost New River Gorge show.
Yes.
So how
Yeah,
was
and
that
it
whole setup
was
there? Was that like a water park?
No, it was a very small. It was like you pass over the New River Gorge Bridge and you take a sharp right and you go down into this deep valley and it's kind of stuck between the two mountains. The stage is like basically like your friend's basement stage. It's barely lifted. Like it felt like I was seeing the band at a basement party, but outdoors.
Nice.
The vibes were and setup were just
Impeccable.
absolutely immaculate.
Dude, I love
There
that.
are
Yeah, I
some
was seeing
cabins off
pictures of
to
the
the right
stage.
that
It looks so small. It actually, in a way, reminded me of the stage they played at the Scoot Inn. Although the Scoot Inn was like a lopsided, weird stage, but again, it was just a small, little kind of framed stage. I love that setup in between the mountains. Could you do like hiking and other stuff there as well? That have like outdoor stuff you could do?
there was that. There was I mean, like when you get your ticket, you pay for a campsite, so you get either a cabin or a campsite, and then it also gives you access to the show included in the ticket price. There was a bunch of trails. You could do rafting. I didn't do that because we got there later than I wanted to. But yeah, no, there was a lot of outdoor stuff you can do. It was like a 1 day festival. It was awesome.
Yeah, that place looked really cool. It was kind of fun watching all summer all the spots, and this one was very unique out in West Virginia. But I think they came out just looking at the set list just at a baseline is pretty gas. To open with a funky and to move like that, like that's an aggressive start to the show. Um, yeah. What was your take on like the
Yeah, no,
first
I
set?
mean the first set was awesome. I mean, funky opener. You almost can't ask for a better opener than that. Like that's just classic Pigeons at its core. It's almost like their theme song, in my opinion. Like when I think of Pigeons, I think of that. And
Yeah.
then moving into a move like that, it's a good dance party. Little, short song to set the mood. And then they switched into the 2001 into the Julius or no Weightless,
Waitlist 2001
then
Julia.
2001,
And
and I mean that Julius sandwich was just something else. Becca Williamson actually, she did the VIP meet and greet with the band, and she had told us about it earlier before the show. I guess they asked her youngest son Leo what song he wanted to hear, and
oh,
he said
cool.
Julia. So I'm assuming Jeremy incorporated it in the set list from that. But
It's also
yeah,
not a
no,
tall
it
ask, like I feel like I'm gonna start paying a little kid to go up there and play stay.
right. But no, what he said was Julia. But I think what Jeremy heard was the nastiest Julia sandwich you could ever imagine.
We're gonna blow this kid's mind.
Oh, I mean, looking over and seeing his face and how happy he was, and like, I remember seeing Greg look at him and just smile, and like, he knew it was for him. And like, how much, how many 5 year olds can say that they got one of their favorite bands to just play a Hall of Fame Julia?
Well, it's like a double sandwich with the nothing but flowers surreal. Like it's got a little extra meat in it too, right? It's not just a sandwich.
That and the Surreal, it wasn't even on the paper set list. It was supposed to be just Julia, nothing but flowers, Julia, but I think they were just feeling it and went into that. Like, don't know what made Greg and Jeremy choose that, but it was the greatest possible choice they could have made.
I mean, I think I'm here for it, right? Like that's definitely. And then just to kind of wrap it up with a Lost in Line, then close it with the Live It Up, like I mean, if they played a single set during the Pigeons Dog Frasco tour, like that would be the full set, right? Like that's
Yeah.
such a monster for just a first set. And there are so few
Well,
2 set shows this summer. It made me really appreciate the ones that we got because I always felt like they definitely hit different here, and they brought the heat for that first set, and
part of
then
me
opened.
thinks that's why they did it is because they were playing one set shows for so long in the summer that when they got their chance to just let it all out, they brought it every time.
Yeah, it's like after a while you're kind of in a box, right? You don't have that room to fully stretch out, and I think in this show they really stretched their legs out. Uh, the Bloodshot Rose, decent 2 second set opener. But and from there, the landing, the turn to let the boogie out, something for you. Now you're kind of getting like, I mean, that's a great dance section, like just
Oh yeah.
absolutely like keeping the vibes high. Uh, and then going into like a Feed the Fire, which, were you saying this to me yesterday when we talked about Feed the Fire? No, hang on, that was somebody else. Never mind, confusing my people.
Well, Feed the Fire, honestly, is like that and Let the Boogie Out. They really aren't that played that much. I kind of looked it up after the show because I was curious, and they like last year. I think but Let the Boogie Out got played like 5 times, and Feed the Fire got played 8. So like thinking about how many shows they played through a year, it's really like not something they break out often, which was cool.
Not like the next song, which they break out all the time, was Water.
Well, I mean, they
it's
just
most
played
played
Feed the
this year.
Fire and Burn the Woods Down. They needed something to extinguish it.
Right. Definitely. I look forward to doing a stats episode for the recap in like 2 months of this year. We did an episode at the start of this year and recapped like the stats of all the songs they played last year and kind of dove into them. So I look forward to doing that again to see kind of, where it falls out. But, one of my favorite covers they do was While My Guitar Gently Weeps. When they kick that song into like dance overdrive, I mean, it's just, as good as it gets with a cover with them, in my opinion.
I mean, I agree 100%. I saw back when I first started seeing them, they did a Weeps into Couldn't We All, and that was like I think at the Rams Head live show, which is the poster you have behind you. But I haven't seen it since that, and that's kind of why it was like a time capsule show for me. Like this whole show felt like old school 2018, 2019 Pigeons. Like it was just more.
We talk about that Rams Head live show for a quick second, not to go down the rabbit hole here, but like that was my first 2-night run. It was like I went from liking the band to being like, fuck, I guess I'm just addicted now. Fully all the way in, but like Bad for You. They played a Drunk People Abracadabra. Like there's certain like time capsule moments, like you just said, like there's certain times where no matter where I am, like I hear the crack of the cymbal during Bad for You, right? Like brings me right back to that Rams Head version. Like it's just, I love those shows so much that I almost kind of wished that when they had to cancel the show at the the brewery in Baltimore during Flocktoberfest, and they went to Soundwave Studios. Anyway, they went to the other venue.
Yeah.
Baltimore, but Rams is around the corner, and I almost, even though Rams was a smaller venue and it would have sucked for them more, I was kind of like low-key hoping we would go there just to go back there because I don't know if you'll ever see them there again. They're just kind of a little bit too big for that room now.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever played there since that show, and I've been dying for an excuse to go back there, to be honest.
I mean, if they're going to play a room that size, they might as well go to the 8x10. It's not much bigger.
It's a pre-show stage now. Nothing else.
Right. They're doing it for the nostalgia, not for the ticket sales. So
yeah.
I'm curious to see when the next time they do go back to the 8x10, it's not an ideal venue for them at this stage of their career. Right. But the last 3-night run they did there was amazing. Getting to see them in such a tight, intimate venue and one that's so close to home. I mean, it is home to them, right? Like they grew up there. Like those were such special shows. They brought a new song every night, right? Like it was just such a cool 3-night run for them to do in such a tiny venue. And look, I'd rather see them somewhere a little bit bigger too, because there's more room, but there's something that's an uncomfortable, weird shape about the 8x10 that's kind of fun to see the Pigeons at.
Well, even shows like that, if they're intimate shows, you're going to be able to look around the room and know a majority of the people. Like there's something special about like knowing that it's just you and the homies in a small setting with the band.
Yeah, it makes me think of like the Ardmore shows where the official first concerts back indoors. I mean, it was just the homies, right? Like there wasn't almost somebody in the crowd that not everybody knew. Like, it was like so close. It was fascinating. But those were some of the most impeccable vibe shows, I think, from a standpoint of play. I listened to those all the time. Night one, Ardmore was like still one of my favorite shows of all time. Like it just absolutely stands out. They had a Havana opener, and just watching Jeremy come out, hitting those first notes, dude, he lit up, like just exploding. It was amazing. Good times. Time capsule shows. I'm gonna start using that more. I like that because it just takes you back to that moment in time. But anyway, to close out, tell me about the Donkey Hotel Encore. Well, what was going on there?
Yeah, the greatest encore I've ever seen. uh, Out of the 66 shows I've seen them, that was just something else. Like Donkey Hotel and Bloodshot Rose are both their newer songs, but I lump them into that time capsule, you know, term because like they feel like songs to me that they could have easily written for Funky Pete back in the day. Like the whole vibe and everything about the songs, they just seem like old school Pigeon songs
Yeah,
compared
I
to what
think
they've released recently.
yeah, I think there's some newer sounding stuff, but I think they don't lose their base. I don't know if I'm saying that even right, but like they're still the Pigeons, right? You know, one of the things that I really always appreciated about them, especially in the early days of kind of discovering them, is they have a very distinct sound. You know, I think Fish does as well. I think the Grateful Dead had a distinct sound. Not comparing all these bands, but I mean just for the sake of the uniqueness of the sound that they make, right? Like you can hear a Pigeon song, you know it's a Pigeon song, right? You don't get confused. Some bands, people say, oh, they sound a little like this, a little like that. Fine, fun debate to have, but I think Pigeons have such a unique sound, and they do bring that to all their songs, whether it be like funky and all right tonight to a Sukasa. You know, it's such like different
Yeah.
condenser, right? Like there's such range in these songs, but they're all so different. Even Bloodshot Rose is a very unique sounding song, but it's still very pigeon-esque in my opinion.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. I can see that. So
or
Donkey
message me if
Hotel,
you
getting back on
disagree.
track.
You
Oh, no, no.
send us a
I
DM
understand what you're
at
saying.
flockast.com. No, I'm just I'm sure people are going to agree and disagree. I always enjoy the various messages I get after a show.
I mean, there is no one that sounds like them, even when they do covers. Like you, they make it their own in the best possible way, which is why like Weeps suddenly turns into a dance party whenever they play it.
Right. I mean, look, like I was talking to someone the other day about Rocket Man, you know, like they turned that into like a disco dance party. Like it's amazing. And Rocket Man, it's not necessarily a dance song, you know, like same with While My Guitar Gently Weeps, right? These aren't classic. But then like you have like an Eleanor Rigby and they throw that in the middle of a skipjack. I mean, that's the encore I come for. Holy shit. Like they're going to send you home out of breath. You know, I love a good skipjack Eleanor Rigby is what I'm saying.
They turn it into an instrumental and make it amazing. It's
Mm-hmm.
fantastic.
But hold on, you didn't
Um,
finish the Donkey Hotel encore.
yeah.
Right.
So the Donkey Hotel, where Greg just completely DJ remixes his voice in the middle of the jam, doing the "I'm a Real Boy." If you haven't went and listened to it, you got to. It's completely something else.
So,
Um,
it's like we have
it,
we have evil Greg on one hand and then we have Pinocchio Greg on the other, right?
and at the same time, like Pinocchio Greg still sounded a little evil and dissonant. It was awesome. The whole show, actually, he was on point with those off the wall, otherworldly background noises that he just layers into shows.
Yeah,
Like
so
I
I think
think
it's been
over
I
the
think we
years,
figured it
like
out
he's
now. It is
gotten
coming from Greg. It is not coming from Jeremy. I remember when I was first hearing those damn bird noises and I'm like, fuck is that? Where's that coming from?
it's,
Me and Jack were like, we got to figure it out. We had Jenny like asking, and they wouldn't tell her when she was doing the VIP. So we were like, fine, keep your secrets. We'll figure it out.
no, it is Greg. I think it's him with his looper pedal, so he can do that and then loop another sound effect. Like he's just added so much depth to songs over the years compared to when I first started seeing him back in 2018. Like the amount his voice and skills as a guitarist has grown is amazing, in my
Yeah, I
opinion.
think the whole band has evolved, and I think that's always a good thing. Sometimes the music changes, sometimes it stays the same. But seeing kind of how they developed personally, professionally, they got families now. They're dads for them, except for Gator, right? Like it changes you, right? But they're still putting out music at a high level. Actually, what I would say was as maybe as creative as ever. They're putting out so much good new music. I mean, I still rage about, or not rage, rant is probably the better word about Feet on the Ground. I'm waiting for them to
Oh
like
yeah.
bust that out again. Like they've really kind of for such a good song, they've only kind of just peppered it a tiny little bit out there. They really haven't, played it as much as they could have, but it's fine. You know, they're doing what they do. But I'm just really hoping my next show, I happen to catch one. That's definitely on my must catch list right now. Anything you're chasing?
Well, forever and always stay, but I haven't got a feet on the ground either, and
Thank
that's one I'm
you.
hankering for.
Thank you. I'm not the only one. What the hell, guys? We're
I've
like we're
I've
we're
managed
1,000
to
plus
miss it.
day gap right now. I don't want
I'm
to get
someone
upset
who's
right
caught
now,
Where
but
Are We Going? Dutch Master Candy, but still can't find a stay. I got
yeah.
blessed with my first pigeon set ever.
Well, I remember what you mentioned. Where are you going? At the Foundry show, it was like 2019. It was like the upstairs show in Philly. They played both those. You know, they did a "Come as You Are," "Stay Sandwich." But I mean, that's a show again, like another show that I always go back to listen to like regularly. But it's because their songs are being played. Those are like just absolute bust outs at this point, and they're really holding them back. You know,
They're almost more than bust outs at this point.
I mean, yeah, we're into
They're
we're
rare
into new
gems.
unmarked territory. So wait, when was your first pigeon show?
It was Dome Fest 2018.
Oh, nice.
I'd never been to a festival or a jam band show, and my friend was trying to convince me, and he told me, he's like, I'll buy your ticket if you come. He's like, I know you're gonna love it. And he created a monster on that day, because after that I just hit the ground running.
That's usually how it goes, right? Like it's kind of like, let me just show you this thing. That's the same way. My like I call my big brother. He introduced me to jam bands. I took my first show was a Soundtribe Sector 9 show. I didn't even know what the hell that was. You know, soon later it was Disco Biscuits and then Fish, and then 23 late years later ish, here we are. You know, like once you get into it, you're like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool. All right.
Yeah, like I'll go see hundreds of this all the time. That's fine.
I'll spend all of my time and money on this. Why not? That's why we have jobs, right? That's why I work
Right?
tirelessly to afford to be able to go to as any shows. But it's like the one reward I have in life where, you know, there's so, and I said this before in this show, but I think we're in like the greatest time in music because at least in the jam band scene, there's such diversity of who to see. You know, you have Dogs in a Pile who are crushing it right now. Eggy, you know, crushing it. You know, you have Humphreys, you have Pigeons, you have Fish, you have Goose. I mean, you name it. There's a little something for everybody. So, you know, there's so much to go around. And I'm seeing each of these younger bands, you know, seeing that Dogs in a Pile and Eggy are co-headlining the Capitol Theater. I'm like, good, amazing, dude. You
I
know,
didn't
you love
realize
to
they
see
were.
it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, both of them are bands on the rise. I love Iggy and Dogs in the Pile. They have a bunch of talent that is just waiting to become better.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, those guys and dogs are so young. So I mean, if they keep what they're doing, just the pace that they're going, even if they slow down, they're gonna get far fast, right? But I don't see that happening at all. I think it's just all all gas and no brakes. But that just means that there's more people in more places that can see music. And you know, it's what always like I said this in the podcast a million times. What I love about the Pigeons is most of these guys have been on the road at the Pigeons for a period of time. You know, I mean, look, you think about bands like Goose, you know, like would they be where they are today without Pigeons? Yeah, I'm sure that the Pigeons weren't that pivotal, but it gave them that road experience. It got them on the road. It got them opening for a band. It just, you know, it got them involved in all that. And I think they took it from there, which is great. But, you know, there's not a jam band really that Pigeons haven't played with at some point besides maybe Fish, right? I mean, Humphreys, Biscuits,
Yeah,
you know, check. You know, they've had sit ins on both sides of those, I'm pretty sure Eggy guys, Twiddle. I mean, you go down the list, it's, you know, it's one big family and Pigeons are part of all of it.
I mean, hell, they even had a Billy Strings sit in at a Peach Fest. So,
Right. I was there for that.
and look
That's
at where he's at now.
talk about stratospheric, man. I mean, I'm not a big bluegrass guy, so his music doesn't hit my ear the right way, but I'd be crazy not to say that guy is not just absolutely murdering it right now. I mean, you couldn't be, I don't know if you could be killing it harder than that guy across the board. So I say hats off, you know, do it. Are you a Billy guy?
Yeah, uh, nah, ish.
Okay.
I haven't got the chance to catch him, but like I do enjoy his music. I like his albums. I'll listen to some live shows here and there.
Nice. Yeah, I saw him the only the one time at Peach Fest. It was a raging show. I can't say I didn't have a blast. So, if I'm ever in a town where Billy's playing, I'll check out tickets.
I'll do it as long as it doesn't interfere with pigeons. But
Well, let's not get out of hand. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah. But it's this has been a slower year for pigeons. I'm really hoping next year look, I want them to still maintain lives and have families, but keep their tour schedule up. I think it was a little bit of gaps right now. They got a couple more weeks till they're back on, and then good way to close out the year. Are you going to make any more shows between now and the end of the year?
my plans as of now are the DC shows all 3 nights, and then hometown throwdown for New Year's Eve.
All right, I'll
Not
see you
far
in
from the
DC.
venue,
I'm
so
pretty sure I'll see you in Pittsburgh. So, and one thing as well, I'm really working on right now is setting up a recording. Excuse me, on the road during the DC shows, and if those work out, doing one as well in New York. But that way, I'm taking the podcast on the road. So hopefully, be able to record a couple mobile episodes, get some flockers on that we've been trying to coordinate and schedule with that it just hasn't worked out to date. But I know we'll be at these shows. So stand by for more on that. Obviously, a lot of changes over the last couple of weeks here at the Flockcast, so I'm just trying to keep up and keep grooving and keep the show on the road. Tour dates from here. Let's see. So yeah, they're back on at the 25th, and then comes into the Halloween run the 31st through the 2nd. Man, I really want to try to make that Nashville show. What do you think? Should I do it? Just hit send.
always send it.
Hit send. All right, we'll see. But yeah, it'd be great. I would if I could do it. Maybe we could do one there. Other announcements: we have Flockcast merch on the way. You've asked for it. It's on the way. I'm getting some shirts made. Maybe see if we can get Jakey to tie dye them. If not, I'll do it. But or just sell them without it. You tell me. We'll figure it out. Awesome, man. Let's see. So wait, you live in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to you said, I think we talked about it briefly yesterday, but you're going to the Mr. Small show and the both shows, right? Both nights.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How's Mr. Small's theater?
Mr. Smalls is awesome. It is a smaller venue. It's going to be an intimate show, and it's an old church that was converted into a theater that sits on top of a hill. And
That's got to be kind of a
Pittsburgh.
cool setup, though, if it's an old church.
It's awesome. It's definitely like my favorite venue in Pittsburgh. It's between that or the Thunderbird. I just like my smaller venues personally.
Look, I call me greedy and selfish, but I really like to see guys, like especially pigeons in tiny venues. It's not great for ticket sales, but it's great for that intimate venue. So it's always find that balance. And I really do love when they play like a small venue, they're like in the same town, play small venue, big venue, or small venue, bigger venue,
Yeah.
right? And kind of do it so you get kind of two different feels, like hearts out to everyone in Asheville, recovering from the flood, but when they did like the Orange Peel and then the Asheville Arena, that was a great. You get the little rock club, and then you get like the big open feel. Very different vibe from night to night.
Yeah, I'm excited they're doing that more because even in DC, it's going to be like that. They're doing the Atlantis, the 9:30 Club twice in a row. So like, I enjoy seeing those kind of pre-party shows with small, intimate venues where the people who are going to go to that, and it's just all of us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of like it's going to be the most fan vibes. It feels really good to be able to go to a show that's within an hour 45 minutes of my place. Having lived in South Florida for so long, nowhere was drivable. So you had to hop on a plane. So at least I can hop in my car and drive to those shows. So I think those will be my first shows back this year. Oh boy, it's been too long. I feel like I'm on the biggest drought ever. So it's like that first notes coming in is just going to hit different. I know that for sure. But looking back of all the places you said 66 times you've seen pigeons, where is your favorite venue you've seen them at?
There's a couple that come up to mind. Honestly, New River Gorge instantly went up there
Wow.
after
Okay.
seeing them there. That's a venue that I recommend to anybody if they have an excuse to go down there just to do it. The experience is awesome. It's fun. Like I said, it feels like a 1 day little mini festival because you get to camp and still see the band and small stage. Just it's an intimate outdoor show. It really was. It
Cool.
was awesome. 930 Club is up there. That's one of my favorite venues ever. I just think the sound in that is incredible. I always go for top rail on that. It's just like nice and centered right over Manny. I'm trying to give everyone a fair chance at the premier concert experience.
You know, I love the 930 Club. I've unfortunately had just like I'll say the worst, not the worst experience. Maybe I'm being over dramatic to say worst experience, but I've just had tight negative crowd interactions there almost every time I've been there. So I'm like, all right, I got to find the spot and just kind of get some space because it gets tight in there. And when it gets tight, some people just start getting a little we'll
just
careless.
cut out what I said 30 seconds ago and meet me there.
No, it's fine. I'll just get there early. You'll see me in line next to Lee. I'll bring my
always after
chair.
Lee, though.
What's that?
I said always after Lee, though.
Oh, I remember it's actually funny when I first met. Not only when I first met him, but like I had met them before. But I was getting to the 930 Club show and they played DC. Like I want to say it was 2019. It was like winter 2019. And I was just walking by the venue and I saw just Tony and Ashley and Lee. And I just stopped to say hello. And then all of a sudden I started getting all kinds of shade and like side eyes from people behind them in line thinking I'm trying to cut in line because, they're trying to get their rail spot too. And then I was like, no, I'm not, don't worry. I'm not cutting in line, whatever. And then as we're talking, then all of a sudden they let everybody in. And then I went in and I was like, sorry, I didn't really mean to cut. They just pulled us in, but I didn't take the rail. So I was like, you guys are good.
Gotta show respect.
Yeah, I'm like, look, I'm going to hang out the back anyway, guys. So it doesn't really matter. I'm not coming in here trying to encroach, race up on your rail spot. I don't need that stress in my life. But all right, cool, man. Well, look, anything else you wanted to go through right now or say about the pigeons here while you're on?
Not really anything off the top of my mind other than the last show made me realize don't ever underestimate magic bracelets. Emily had made a bunch of bracelets for like ISOs with random songs on them, like kind of bust out songs, and like 4 of the maybe 10 songs she put across the bracelets hit.
Oh,
that was
nice.
Donkey Hotel, Weightless, Couldn't We All, and Surreal. So
all right. I mean, those are
always go into a show with a magic bracelet. It'll help you.
All right. Well, I love it, dude. Well, we'll end on that. Well, everybody, thanks for listening again. Sherbobo, thank you for joining us. It's been great having you on the episode. And we'll see you all soon. Tomorrow night, we are recording our Halloween Spooktacular. We have Mr. Brian, the Cowboy Buckley on, as well as Mr. Jack Harper. So excited for that one. We'll be talking about the upcoming Halloween and Halloweens of past. So until next time, thank you.
See you later.